Good morning, YouTube family. Just wanted to pop in with Nellie to give you a real life look at what it looks like to have a 9-day-old and to be having postpartum sweats and severe anemia. I mean, first of all, just leaking everywhere. My hair. I mean, actually, I could make that work. But dark circles, just on fleek. But it's all worth it for this little babe. Had to pop in that clip that I had from when he was 9 days old. So clearly you can tell that I have it together a little more. But let me tell you, this newborn stage is no joke. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I wanted to pop in today to give a postpartum update. So it's been just over 3 weeks since little man arrived, and he's trying to decide right now if he's waking up. I have him angled so I can see him in the viewfinder. It's about 4:30 in the afternoon and he's sleeping for the first time today. He's just been so alert and so awake, which is good because we're trying to flip-flop him so he's, you know, awake during the day and not at night, even though, knock on wood, he's been so good. Even when he's awake during the night, he doesn't cry. He just like sits there and looks around. But anyways, he's finally asleep and he's got his little arms up and he's cheering. But anyways, he is 3 weeks and 1 day old. So I wanted to pop in and do a postpartum update. So as you know, if you saw my Meet the Baby, he came on April 7th via a C-section. It was 36 hours of labor, 2.5 hours of pushing, and then emergency C-section. So we had quite the ordeal to get him here, but he was absolutely, absolutely worth it. So as far as postpartum recovery, C-section recovery has been really great. I feel like you read and see a lot about how C-section recovery is so terrible and so awful and how it's major surgery and you want to avoid at all costs, and obviously, you know, you do you, but it's been 3 weeks and I honestly feel great with the meds that I had. I was on Percocet and 800 milligram ibuprofen. Honestly, the Percocet didn't really do much of anything, but that ibuprofen was pure magic. So even the first week back, obviously in the hospital, I really couldn't move because of my incision. I couldn't use my abs whatsoever. So I was really stuck in bed and my husband had to do pretty much everything. But then by the time I was home, like a week out, we went for a walk, which granted, looking back, I probably pushed it a little bit because those meds made me feel so good. And I probably, in hindsight, shouldn't have pushed it too much because by the second week, I was trying to kind of go off the ibuprofen and only take like one during the day, and I'd be so sore by the end if I was like doing housework and moving around. So probably about like 2 weeks of doing nothing is really what would have been great, but it still has been awesome. I've been off meds since about 2.5 weeks and feel great. The only thing I noticed is if I like lean up on a counter and hit my incision, somehow that hurts. And then my back, my epidural site killed, and then like down the left leg. So I don't know if they like bonked a nerve or something. Today is the first day that it feels fine, but that has been super painful. But other than that, the C-section part of the recovery has been amazing. So as far as the other side, because he did have to get pushed back up and in, honestly, anybody who has had a baby knows about the, you know, the pad parfait that they do with all of the ice and the lidocaine and the tux pads and all of that. And that I had to do in the hospital for those 3 days. And then by the time I went home, swelling was gone and life was good. So as far as the whole physical recovery, that has been really top notch. I know I had a great OB. I had never met her before that day, and I was told that I was super, super lucky that she was the one that did my C-section, because not only was she super calm and amazing, but she was fast and thorough, and everything is great down there. I know a lot of people share their incisions on these updates, but mine is literally so low, like it would make this channel pornographic. So that's also amazing because you will literally never be able to see it, even in a bikini. I also have that little, like, I don't know if it's even an inch, probably like half an inch of the little like flop, if you will, like on top of my incision, the little pucker, if you will, and that is also so low that that's below my bikini line. So I'm super happy with how that all turned out. Not that I would really care anyways, because anything to get him here mattered, but she did an awesome job, so that was great. The biggest thing that I noticed for postpartum for me is that first week was the anxiety. Like my postpartum anxiety was absolutely through the roof. And I was wondering, because first trimester I suffered from the antenatal depression a ton. Like I just went into a deep hormonal depression until about week 13, and then I swear I woke up and it was like 80% gone. And it's still like my moodiness and kind of not feeling like myself really did linger the entire pregnancy, but that acuteness was for the first trimester. So I really wondered how my hormones would react the second that he came, and it was insane. Granted, our birth was pretty traumatic. Having him not be breathing on his own or crying for those first 4.5 minutes was really traumatizing to me, and I really felt like I could not that I couldn't let go of it, but I just went numb. Like when he came out and was not crying, I swear I went numb. Like I didn't cry, my husband didn't cry, I just stared at like the NICU team that came running in, and they were counting out every 30 seconds, and like I swear I just went completely blank. And then when he started crying, and when Danielle, my nurse slash friend, told me that they were breathing for him and it was all okay, like I didn't even feel any relief. Like I swear my emotions just completely shut down. And then, you know, obviously I felt joy when I got to see him, and when I got to hold him, like I knew in my heart and in my head that I was super happy, but I really was just shut down. And that took a long time. It was like the anxiety came up for about the first week, like the first 4 days that we were home, so probably like 7 days total. I mean, I didn't sleep. Like he would be asleep, my husband would be sound asleep, and I would just be sitting there like staring at him and like watching him breathe, and then every move he made. And then it wasn't even like that I was counting his breaths. I mean, I was watching him breathe, but I was just like poised and ready for the other shoe to drop. Like it was too good to be true that he was completely fine, and that I was just so petrified. And then I was terrified of him being, you know, too hot, because that ups his SIDS risk, and like I didn't know how to dress him. And then he was peeing through his diaper because we weren't putting his little pee-pee down, and then like I thought that was sweat on his back, and I'm like, babies can't sweat, and then I would just be hysterical. And those days, like I swear my heart was just in a knot, or my stomach was in a knot, and my heart was thumping. I don't know, all of the things for like 4 straight days. During the day I'd be okay, and then by the time it would hit like 5 or 6, I would just feel that anxiety boil, because I would know that it's almost nighttime, and for me the nighttime was so scary. So that was really hard to deal with. I kind of didn't know if that was going to last, how I was going to literally survive. Like I did not know what this whole newborn bliss thing was, because I was just so scared. And then that really kind of faded. So it was on the 11th day that I finally like had my release of emotions, and I was able to cry and like recognize like how scary that delivery was, and how scared I was when he wasn't breathing, and how happy I am that he's here. And now, don't worry, he screams extra loud, so he makes up for lost time. But I was kind of able to just like have that release, and that was huge. And then the anxiety definitely just went back down to like normal mom anxiety. So obviously I'm still like a little crazy, and I have my moments, and I don't want people with colds touching him. And even though we go out a ton, if you follow us on Instagram, you will see that he has gone to like 5 or 6 outdoor bars in Tampa, because the weather is perfect. We want to get him out of the house, but we don't do like crowds or anywhere inside. So we've been going to like outdoor beach bars and such like during the week, and a little earlier where it's not too crowded, and he's loved it. But even though I have some like mom anxiety, like that intense craziness has passed, which is huge, because now I can really enjoy the newborn phase, because before it was just literally all encompassing. And now, you know, when he sleeps, believe me, I pass out. So one thing I have not done is drive. So it's been 3 weeks. I'm going to have to this week, since we don't have any more visitors. Really the only thing that's hindering my driving is because the seatbelt goes right where my incision is, and they say you need to make sure that you can like stop, like do a jerky stop, and it won't hurt you, because your reflexes could stop you from doing that, and that could be dangerous. So I am super, super anxious to drive with him for the first time. I'm an anxious driver to start with, and then to add him in, that is something that I am still super anxious about. But once again, I think that that's like normal mom anxiety. I don't think that that's crazy. Sorry, my bra straps keep coming out. Another postpartum thing is my gigantic boobs, and I literally, everything I have is like racer back or strapless, and obviously I can't do that with a nursing bra. So I was gonna put on some other cute outfit, but hey, this is life. So to segue out of anxiety into the milk situation, so I don't know if you can tell, but my boobs are ginormous. So my milk came in full throttle, crazy engorged. I have an insane supply, an insane oversupply. I have, like I say, we're 3 weeks in, and I have over 200 ounces in my freezer already. My milk just honestly came in with a vengeance. In the beginning, I had to pump it out because it was so engorged. And so I was trying to find the balance of pumping enough that I wasn't in pain, but also not totally emptying it out because I don't want to signal my body to make more. So for a bit, he only eats off of one side. We actually went to a latch clinic and saw he chugs like 3 ounces in 10 minutes off of one side and is done. So he is a super chugger. He's gonna be great in college. But so I was pumping the other side, but like I didn't know exactly how much to pump out. So then after going to the clinic, knowing that he takes 3 ounces, I could pump out 3 ounces on this side, but now I've just been using the Haka. So I just stick that on the side that I'm not nursing, nurse that side, and I usually get like 2 to 3 ounces off of that side, and then he eats his. So the milk has been crazy. I do still get engorged if I'm out and I feed him and I don't have the hock on the other side. It immediately gets engorged. So I'm hoping in the next few weeks that will regulate, because I do like having enough of a supply to have a stash, because my husband can feed him out of a bottle. Obviously, I've talked a lot about the trip that I have at the end of next month, so now I don't have to worry about him having enough milk. We have a wedding in Chicago in August that my in-laws could come down and stay with him if I have enough milk. And so I like having the oversupply, but it's a little painful, so I am anxious to see how that regulates, and then maybe down the road I'll do a video of how, you know, my pumping routine and my stash routine. But honestly, I don't have any tricks. It's just my supply. I have been still craving, I really just crave cheesy carbs still, and so I think my high carb diet probably has something to do with it. Actually, as soon as I'm done with this video, I will be making myself a fruit smoothie, because I honestly can't remember the last time I had a fruit, so I should probably get on that. But otherwise, as far as postpartum weight loss, honestly, I was, say, about 134 for the last month or so, and then the day that I did go into the hospital that night for my swelling and my vision changes, I bumped up to 140. So I'd gained 6 pounds of swelling that day, and I went in at 140 and I left after delivering him. He was 6'15", and all of the stuff and, you know, the liter of blood and everything that I lost, I still left the hospital at 134. So I was super swollen from all of the drugs. I'll tell it all in my labor delivery story, but during my C-section, they literally pumped me with all of the things because my epidural wasn't taking. And so I got a lot of drugs, and then I feel like it hit me all at once. And then like the swelling, just, which I'm guessing was from that, because I think they said epidurals make you swell. I could have gotten that wrong. It kind of is a whole blur, but I was so swollen when I left, and my body held on to that swelling for about a week, which they said it would. They said that it would be a week before anything happened and probably 2 weeks before it was all gone, and that was so true. So the first like pictures that we have out, I'm just still hugely swollen. So I literally only lost 6 pounds, like not even him, when I left. And then after that, I got week 2, the postpartum night sweats, which are like the most disgusting thing ever. I was sleeping on a towel, but the first night I slept, I sweat out 12 pounds. The second night I was like 14 pounds. I forget what it was, but I've sweat out literally 30 pounds since then. So I am now, well, actually a little more than that, because I'm 108 now. So I'm only 10 pounds higher than I was when I got pregnant. Got pregnant at 98 pounds, which is underweight for me. So I do want, I don't want to go below like 104, 106. I do want to hold on to some of the weight, and obviously my boobs have a ton. So thankfully I got really lucky that with my night sweats, I got rid of all the weight that I wanted to. Obviously my stomach is much flatter, but it's still a little squishy, so I can't wait for my 6-week appointment if I can get cleared to work out and can just tone up. But I am honestly really happy with the 10 extra pounds. Hopefully, you know, my boobs will shrink a little bit, but it's definitely much healthier, and that has been really great between that and breastfeeding. We are exclusively breastfeeding. He does sometimes get breast milk from a bottle, so people like don't think that that's exclusively breastfeeding, which I think is stupid. Like, he's getting either exclusive breast milk or formula. He's obviously getting all breast milk, even if it's not all from the boob. But anyways, I digress. So breastfeeding has been burning a ton of calories and then just sweating it all out. But let me tell you, the day that those ended, it's great, because that was just really not pretty when you're already like leaking breast milk in your granny panties, because even though my regular pants fit me now, I can't have any, my incision is like right around where my like low-rise pants would be, and my low-rise underwear, so I can't wear any of those because it all touches. So I'm still like in my super like belly button high granny panties and my sleeping bras, and it's just not attractive. And then when you're just like sweating every day, it's just really clutch. So everybody talks about postpartum not being beautiful, and it is so true, and he could not agree more. Look at that stretch. Look at that stretch. Are you waking up? He is a huge spitter upper, so you can tell I've got his bib on. So he has supervised naps with his bib. So just gotta make sure it's not in his face. But anyways, so those were the major things that I had to deal with, were night sweats, which are gone, thank goodness. Postpartum anxiety, which is gone, thank goodness, but holy crap, that was super scary. And then the third was the engorgement milk supply, which will hopefully even out. So this was just, like I say, my quick 3-week update, or what happened 1, 2, and 3, and then at my 6th week, hopefully I will have some better news with the engorgement situation. My blood pressure is still really high. I had to do a blood pressure appointment, and it's still like flirting with the pregnancy preeclampsia levels, but since I have delivered, that now is 160 over 110 is that threshold. So I'm still way below that. They did say that they don't worry about that going back until your 6-week appointment. So I'm not as worried about that. And then I'm just on, now I'm off all drugs except iron. I'm on an insane amount of iron. Like I mentioned, my hemoglobin level is 6.6, which is super low from the delivery. So I'm on like 325 milligrams of iron every day for like the next 6 months or something insane like that. So I'm taking that. Soon my face will start to have color again as it comes back. And honestly, every day is better and better. And let me tell you, I absolutely love not being pregnant. As I mentioned in all of my updates, you know, pregnancy, as you know, just did not agree with me, and the nurses in the hospital, when they decided to induce, said the same thing, that you're between the anemia and then the superimposed preeclampsia and all that, like your body's just done being pregnant, and I could not agree more. So it has been really fun. I've had a couple cocktails. I haven't gone too crazy. I'm more doing just like the fruity ones here and there because like I have 2 sips that I am done. And it was probably about 2 weeks before I could really have one. I had like a sip of like half a Corona, and then I did have a drink, like a sangria, the first place we went out, but it really made me feel kind of weird. And even though like I wasn't on any of the heavy duty drugs anymore, it did make me feel weird, and it like wasn't super fun. So now it's at the point where I'm like, okay, this is good. And so I just balanced that with his breastfeeding. But it is so fun not being pregnant, so fun taking him out and about. And honestly, even with the, you know, hiccups here and there and the little pain that's left, my postpartum recovery has been awesome. So it's crazy that this is my 3-week postpartum update, because that means next week I will be doing his 1-month update, and I cannot believe that he's 1 month. I sound like a broken record from all of my pregnancy updates, just saying how I can't believe he's almost here, I can't believe he's almost here, and now I'm gonna be like, I can't believe that he's 1 month or 2 months, but he is almost 1 month. So we'll have a great update coming, and his birth story will be coming hopefully in the near future soon, because being 3 weeks out, I'm definitely more in a better mental state to share all of that fun. So I will see you guys in my next video. If you want to still see the updates for both my postpartum recovery and the real fun stuff, which is Carson's milestones, go ahead and hit the subscribe button down below. Hit the bell so you get notified when I post any videos, and hit the like button if you like this, and don't forget to leave a comment, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.